I am Fridge, and welcome to episode 50 of War of Civilization Started Over. At the end of the last episode, Yoyland here invaded into this small blue country. Let me turn that off. Which led to the activation of both of these alliances here. There was also invasions from the Right Triangle Alliance into other countries, which I'll cover in a second, but these two alliances are now at war. So the other invasions so far were this red country here, invaded a little bit into the yellow country, and took this major city. They also invaded up into the Egyptian country, both Yoyland and the green country here, started invading into this blue country over here. There's a lot of blue over here, something that I'm realizing. And finally, I think the final invasion I need to call in on this was over here, where Yoyland invades into this country. So here's the current front lines. And heading over to the red country, they're going to start to push into the green country, try to push down in the south to try to get to the capital pretty quickly. However, the green country has this area well defended, so they can't push too far in. Up here, however, they will push a bit further in, pushing over like this. They also start a push into Yoyland, which they push in like that. Now, that's what I want to do. Now, if we look at the top 10 layer, you'll know that there's only one country here that is in the top 10, and that is the red country. It's the 8th strongest country in the world. Actually, I need to update this a lot because Greece is no longer in the top 10. The country here collapsed, also collapsed, probably like 3rd or 4th at this point. So yeah, this needs updated. Coming over to this blue country here, it is going to continue to die as the green country pushes over here, cutting the capital off, and along with that, Yoyland is going to sweep through the rest of this area, pushing down towards the coast, and the capital will get captured and fall. Get captured and fall, that's like the same thing. Anyways, up here, we are going to see this blue country start to push into this country here, taking this city here, which I think at one point in history this was the capital of this country, I want to say. I could be wrong about that. But they push in here and start taking these southern provinces. And the pink country will also start to push in. Pushing in over here. Now, that is way too much. The pink country is not that strong. Pushing in over here, that's more like it. The pink country is probably the weakest country on the right triangle team. They're probably stronger than this country. So yeah, this country's probably not going to last long because both the countries next to it are stronger. However, heading down here, Egypt. If you look at the economic alliance layer, that's not it, you will see that this country is actually in an economical alliance with this country. Same thing with like all of like the red country and this Yellow country also in an economic alliance with this country. So why is this country fighting on the right triangle side instead of the gear side? Well, to put it simple, they want to kind of be like the leader of this alliance. So if they were to knock out Egypt, which was kind of the country that started this alliance, and also the red team, which is the strongest country in the alliance, then they could possibly become the leader. So that's kind of why they chose to do this. And they're actually going to pull another country in this alliance into this war. That being the purple one down here. Promising them some land from this country here. And there might have also been a secret deal to get some land from this country here that this country doesn't know about, but anyways. This country will start an invasion into the yellow country down in the south. And quickly push and take this province here and also this province here. Now there's no major cities in these provinces and not much people living in them, so they're not really capturing anything important. However, over here, between the yellow country and the green country, there is a massive naval fight happening right here. Because, well, if the green team wins, they can capture the capital of the yellow country, and then they'll probably get knocked out of the war. If the yellow country wins, then they can make a landing on the green country and possibly pull, and they probably couldn't get over to the capital, but they could pull troops away from this front here to help the red team get to the capital. However, the yellow team is also going to have to defend themselves, and they will send troops up here to start pushing back against the red country. They will not be able to recapture this, to take back this major city, but they do push back a little bit. However, over here, the red country will start pushing down over here, taking this province, which this land is not as important as this land over here, but they could push over, which would be bad, so. Anyways, heading up to Egypt. Egypt actually is a pretty strong country, and that is because they've kind of been aiding a lot with the Dutch country. They're economic partners, actually. They aren't in an alliance, but they do like trade between each other a lot. And they're going to go over to the Dutch country, which has the Suez Canal, which means that they get a lot of money from countries that go through here because they are charging people to use the Suez Canal. And they are going to basically ask for money to pay for this war, which is going to, and also ask for some supplies. So, along with that extra supplies, they will use that to push back a little bit. However, similar to what's happening in the yellow country, the red country will start to push out over here. And they're going to push up here, and they're going to cut off a few, probably like 2,000 troops here, and those 2,000 troops are going to run into the pink country. However, the red country is not going to stop, and they start to push into the pink country now to capture those troops, and this is going to make the pink country mad, and this is going to lead to them joining this war on the side of the gears. So if I can find the alliance layer. They were doing the war on the side of the gears because they are mad about getting invaded. I'm on the wrong layer, of course I am. Where's the correct layer? There it is. Control C, Control V. There we go. So now the gears have another ally in this war. And this pink country is going to quickly start to push back against the red country. Along with this they're going to help Egypt push back against the troops here. pushing them back down to this province here, following which the Pink Country will start their own invasion into the Red Country, which they'll capture this province here, and that'll be about it. Anyway, so heading back over here, this Green Country, things are not going to go well for them as they just continue to die, with their capital now being threatened by Yoyland. Now, Yoyland is going to be sending a lot of their troops down to this front here. Speaking of which, they're going to push a little bit back against the Red Country. However, the Red Country is the strongest country, is a top 10 power, so they will successfully capture this major city and push over towards this major city, threatening it. And back down here, the Red Country is going to continue to push into the Green Country, pushing over to this major city and capturing it, and starting a push towards this major city here, while also continuing to pushing over here a bit, pushing a bit close towards the capital. Anyways, back down in the Yellow Country, things are not going well for them, as the Purple Country here continues to push this way, and the Red Country here continues to push along here. Along with that, this naval battle has ended in a victory for the Green Country, and soon after, we will see them make a landing over here and start to push towards the capital. They will also push up a bit, connecting up with the Red Country here's front. No, there's the Red Country, then there's the other Red Country, and they're on different sides. There's also like the 3 different blue countries, but one of them's dead. And then there's the 2 different green countries. Well, actually, there's another blue country down here, but they're not in the war. And also this blue country here, but they're not in the war. And this bluish country up here, but they're not in the war. Country again, where they are also dying. Let me remove the lines real quickly. But this country up here is also dying, as the blue country here pushes towards this major city and captures it, and their capital is getting pushed to by these 2 countries here. Anyways, though, heading back over towards Egypt now, they are going to have some major success against the Red Country. With help from the Pink Country, they'll push down over towards here and then start their own invasion into the Red Country. They will also push back over here, taking back this major city, and pushing the Red Country completely out of them. However, the Red Country is having more success down here, where they push over into these provinces, taking them. And also the Purple Country is having success, taking more land, now pushing over towards this major city. However, then something happens. This blue country here, they kind of sent spies into like all of the countries in this war to kind of find out anything, and they've found plans by the Purple Country to invade them after the war. And after finding this out, they're going to join this war on the side of the Gears because they don't want to die. So, with that, the Gears add this blue country to it. They also add this country over here. No, I'm joking. This country's not going to do anything ever. Anyways, though, the blue country starts to push into the purple country, and they quickly get close to the capital, and this is because the purple country, most of the military is up here, so with that, they sweep through the purple country pretty quickly, getting close towards the capital. This will lead to the yellow country being able to push back into the purple country. Along with that, troops from the blue country will be sent into the yellow country to help out. As the purple country is pushed back down towards over here, heading over towards here, the red country is going to continue to push towards the capital of the green country, getting incredibly close. And this is going to lead to the green country needing to pull back a lot of troops, and pulling back troops, they're going to pull some out of this area here, which is going to lead to the yellow country retaking it. However, the red country will continue to push down a bit, but then something's going to happen, as there's a country that kind of wants a coastline, but they don't really have one at the moment, so what do? Well, simple. They join a war to get one. As this blue country joins the war to try to get a coastline by just completely annexing the red country is what they want, which they're probably not going to get that, but they could still get a lot of land from the red country, including a coastline. So they join the war, and they start to invade into the red country, which the blue country is not really that strong. So they don't really do much against the red country. However, what this will lead to is troops from the pink country being sent down here, as they can, as well, this country join is a surprise, and that's going to lead to a bit more of a success pushing into this area. Now getting close to these major cities over here. Along with that, up in Egypt, the Egyptians are going to push further into the red country, pushing over here, which is getting pretty close to the capital. Meanwhile, up here, well, this country continues to die, with the capital being taken. However, similar to what we've seen on other fronts, a country is going to join, and that country is going to be none other than this blue country here, who, basically this blue country, they want land from the pink country. In fact, they want like all of the pink country. So they start to push in towards the pink country, capturing this major city, and this country is stronger than the pink country, plus the pink country has been kind of worn out from this war. With them joining, the pink country is going to pull back a lot of their troops, which is going to lead to this country taking over some of this land to occupy. However, the pink country, well, they should not have joined this war, as they lose their capital, and soon after, they lose this major city, which is going to lead to them leaving the war. Also, these colors are way too similar, so let's change that. As, with help from the blue country, and not help from the Tauns, this country will push back against the blue country, now pushing up over here. And along with that, in this blue country, a lot of people are not happy with the government's decisions, and we see a rebellion start to form over here, and even encompasses this major city here, and soon it takes a lot of these provinces along here, And now this isn't the strongest revolution ever, and it would be pretty easy for the blue country to put it down. It will lead to them needing to pull more troops from here, which is going to lead to a massive success in pushing them back. Now pushing them all the way back towards these two major cities here. While this blue country goes to deal with the revolution, which they will take back a lot of their land pretty quickly. However, the revolution does hold out in this major city and parts of this province for now. Heading over here, well, quick answer, green team's dead. Long answer, a new country has joined the war. And you're probably wondering, why is Persia, pushing into the oil lands, occupying forces in this country? Well, to put it simple, they are kind of still mad at Yoyland for betraying them in World War One. If you remember, during World War One, this country here, Yoyland, and a few other countries like this one here were all allies. And how, like before the war, however, when it started, Yoyland joined on the winning side, while the rest of the countries were on the losing side. Persia actually left the war and I don't think they lost any land. But Persia is now here for some revenge as they push through this country, and the people here like cheering because they think they're being liberated, but no, they're just under a new command. Now, Persia is not like fighting with the Gear Alliance. They are like their own front that is just sees A, an opportunity for land, and B, an opportunity for revenge. So they push, and then they start to push into Yoyland, which, when like the third strongest country, yes, Persia is at this point the third strongest country in the world. I need to update the one thing, as I said before. Along with that, the 8th strongest country in the world, or actually, I don't know where they would place at this point, but they're both pushing in. We also see a push in to this country here, and by the Red Country, which will liberate it, as Yoyland also is pulling a lot of their troops that could come push against the communists, which have taken this major city now, and are starting to push towards the capital. That's all I wanted to do. Up in the blue country, though, some good news. They have destroyed this rebellion. Bad news, however, they have been pushed out of this country here. And, well, chances are is that after Yoyland falls, they're probably going to be next. So, they're going to make the smart decision to leave the war, if I can find the right layer. They will make the smart decision to leave the war. As for the Red Country here, well, the Yellow Country is now pushing back against them, pushing all the way back towards this major city. Meanwhile, Egypt continues to push down, now pushing right towards the capital. They also push into these provinces here, but they get right towards the capital, and they will successfully take the capital. Along with that, this blue country here will push in a bit more, capturing this major city here. This also contains troops from the pink country, obviously, which is the only way that this is possible. But over here, you've been pushed out, and your capital has been taken. So what do you do then? Well, simple. You leave the war, which is what the purple country does. Why am I all the way over here, not over here? There, that's better. Which is what the purple country does. They leave the war. Now it's just the red country, your land, and the green country. But to put things simple, to make things a bit more, but to say things correctly, it's more so they're all dead, because there's no way that the Right Triangle Alliance is winning this war. They have the eighth strongest country in the world, and the third, they have two top 10 powers pushing into them, along with a few other countries which somehow the yellow country's just done all this, and that's because, well, the green country, a lot of their troops are just refusing to fight at this point. They see that this war is a lost cause, and the capital will fall, along with a few more major cities. And then this country is going to completely collapse, and we will deal with that later. But, your land, yeah, things not going well for you, as your capital has now been taken by Persia. And the red team is pushing up along here. And, well, you've kind of made a lot of countries hate you, and they're kind of just going to, well, I'll just spoil it now. Your land is not going to be here after, this war. They'll be completely erased off the map. So if you're a fan of this country, which I think the only person who's a fan of this country is a Hugh, well, I'm sorry, but yeah. The red country, they are going to collapse. And with that, it's just your land. And, well, they have troops pushing into them. I'm just going to call these red because it's simpler. Pushing into them from all over. And, like, all their major cities, I think, are gone. Maybe there's one behind this right triangle. No. Yeah, all the major cities are gone, and they're going to collapse. One country. So, with that, the war in this area is over. Please tell me what I should name this war, because I don't know. But anyways, now it is time for a peace treaty. So, here we have the results of the peace treaty. Also, you know how I mentioned this country going to do nothing earlier? Well, actually, it did do something. That's their capital city here. Is where the peace treaty took place. So that country has done something now. They're never going to do anything else again. Next up, so they get nuked somehow. Anyways, though, the red country has gotten a lot of land. This country here got a lot of land back. I think they owned like all the land that they got back at some point in history. This country here got a lot of land. The yellow country got a lot of land. The blue country got a little bit of land. They spared. I actually originally had plans for the war down here to go on a bit longer, and for this purple country to be completely erased in the peace treaty. But while recording, I decided to just have it surrender a bit earlier on, and they lost like a little bit of land here, but other than that, they were spared. They did get kicked out of the economical alliance that they were part of, in with a lot of these other countries, though. Egypt and this blue country, and also the yellow country, all got land from the red country that was here, which still exists right here. So we have a new city-state now. Actually, what's smaller, that or this up here? Well, this actually is a lot smaller than it looks if you look at this map here. It's really just like that, those few islands there. Anyways, though, And up here, the pink country that was here before no longer exists. Most of it went to the blue country, but the Dutch did get a little bit of land as kind of like a thank you from Egypt for helping them out. This country here did not get any land. This country here did not. They lost a little bit of land to this blue country, but other than that, they were kind of spared. And the country that was here, while the Gears did win, they lost and were annexed by the communists, which also took a bit of coastline from Yoyland, which finally Yoyland would split in half, and but neither of these countries are called Yoyland. If I look at the country name layer, nothing there. Here's a nice. You should not be there anymore. You don't. No, you don't exist anymore. Japan needs to be like. New China also is dead. Anyways, though. There's probably a few other countries that are dead that still have their names on here. Myanmar's name needs to be moved down a bit. I can do that off camera. Anyways, though. That's enough of names. The final thing happening is going to be a update of the top 10, so let me erase the current things on there. So, goodbye all of this. A lot of you will not be in the top 10 anymore. Maybe you will be, but higher up, or maybe lower down. Who knows? I know. Kind of. I don't have exactly this whole thing planned out. But anyways, the strongest country at this point is still the Nordic Union. Second is Korea. I'm pretty sure they were third before, but now that's a W. Now they're second. Third, making a big jump because they used to be seventh, is the Persian country. And like these three, the top three, they're like basically like neck and neck with each other. Fourth, keeping their spot at fourth, is the United States of South America. Fifth is this South African country. Sixth is going to go to the red country. Seventh, this is where things might get interesting. There's a few different options for seventh, but I'm going to give seventh to a country that is up to the military a lot recently, and that is Wales. Eighth is similarly going to go to a country that, like, you probably never would have guessed would be in top 10 ever again before World War II. However, they've made a massive comeback. That being Belgica. Ninth, this is what I'm not really sure. Ninth, there's a few different countries it could go to. However, I think I'm going to give ninth to... I'm actually still thinking about it. I'm not sure who I'm going to give ninth to. I think I'm going to give ninth to Florida, actually. As for the 10th strongest country in the world, it is going to be none other than... Who do I want to give the 10th to? I think the 10th is still going to be the Dutch. I think they're going to keep the spot as 10th. Anyways, though, that is where this episode is going to end. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.